let me go live because me and my people, we need to talk. We need to have a conversation this morning while I'm in my t-shirt and got my pajama pants on, and all I've had is a cup of coffee. So I'm having flashbacks this morning because I'm remembering when I went on Dr. Phil. And in that process of me going on Dr. Phil, I remember how I was ridiculed. And for those of you all that watched it, right, you all know, right, I was a Black, angry woman. I wouldn't accept my child. I was jealous of my child because my child looked better than me. I hated my children. I was a disgusting mother, right? I was ambushed on the show with the guest that I had no idea was going to be there. A man twice my daddy size. Chumping me down as a mother, never did nothing for my children. Trying to tell me how to be a mother. Someone that'll never have the capability of being a mother, telling me how to be a mother. Then if you remember, he also told me that if something happened to my son, that it was going to be my fault. Y'all remember that? Said on the show, right? Spoke this over the airwaves, right? That's why I get up and pray and rebuke them devils every morning. And I bind everything that they put on me. And it's return to sender, baby. We don't even accept it. It's shipped right back to them. I don't play no games because I understand the power of the tongue, right? Said on the TV that if my child left their shoulder that day, right, and committed suicide, that it would be my fault. Said that if my child resorted to street work, right, because he was an old rusty, dusty ass prostitute in the alleys down there in LA, getting a loose booty for a line of coke, right? You want to project that onto my child because that's what you did, right? That's your, wait a minute, I ain't even finna get started because y'all know I'm gonna get started. And I've been asking the Lord and I've been praying, and I hope y'all been praying with me because y'all know I'm going to mainstream TV and there are just things that I cannot say. So y'all have to pray for this old snappy tongue that I got, okay? Y'all got to pray. Pray for me. Pray for my tongue. And I'm going to try to do much better, right? Because there are so many more opportunities. Like one thing my godmother keep trying to explain to me, and she know I'm hard-headed, but see, one thing about my godmother, her love is unconditional. Not only that, I have shown myself approved because I've been with this lady for many, many years, and it's really nothing that anyone can tell her about me. Nobody. You can have the highest office in the land, and you still can't tell that one nothing about me. And she's going to make it clear, and she's going to let everybody know, right? That comes from years of service and loyalty. But she keep telling me, and everything she done never told me is right. She keep telling me, she like, stop cussing, stop cussing, stop cussing. We don't operate in that realm. Stop cussing. And when you cuss, you block things. And I'm trying to open up doors for you. You got to stop cussing. You got to stop cussing. Me, I get mad the way, and I'm not the only child that she got like that. She got another child that's like that too. So, you know, she loves us regardless. But these people gave me 66 words I cannot say. 66 words. That's everything. So I apologize for talking about the man loose booty, okay? I'm just saying, don't project that on my child. Like, keep that energy over there, right? All them lines of coke. your nose dripping and your booty dripping. Y'all remember that movie? What movie that was? Follow the drip, follow the drip. Just let your soul glow, babe. Anyway, listen, let's keep going. Matt Walsh from Daily Wire goes on to Dr. Phil. Says basically everything that I said. Let's look at these clips and then we're going to come back to reflect.
There should be no construct of gender, just sex. You're either male or female.
Right.
And someone feeling in a mental, emotional way that they don't identify with the sex that they have been biologically created as and assigned at birth based on their genitalia. If they don't feel that way, that there's no construct that describes that experiences.
Now, let's remember, when I said, right, because remember, this is, you got a mother on the stage with two of her children, right, that have been completely indoctrinated, right, by white liberals, right, in school. So when I said that being a woman was more than a feeling, right, when I said that I had a degree, right, in psychology, right, and that it was gender dysphoria. Do y'all remember? Just tell me if y'all remember. When I said that, he challenged my whole education and discredited, right, my university. I'm just asking if y'all remember that. If anybody remember, because we can go back and watch it. Me as a black woman, right? Now, these people that are on this stage, everybody got an opinion, whatever. We're talking about a family, a black family. And you have a mother saying, you know, not only did I go to prison, not only did I overcome that, not only when I got out of prison, did I get on my feet, did I get my children together. I love my child so much that I went back to school to get a bachelor's degree in psychology, right? To help me understand what was going on with my child. A real parent that's looking for understanding. I go to an accredited university, get a diploma. They teach me that this is gender dysphoria, and now you're telling me that after paying nearly $60,000 for an education that is worthless? Like, who do I sue? How can I get my money back? I definitely can't get my time back. But if you're saying that the education I sacrificed and paid for is now worthless, because basically that's what they're saying. When you pass laws like banning conversion therapy for a person to take their child to a psychologist to help them understand gender identity, and you make it illegal for someone like me or someone else who is a student or a doctor or practicing to tell a male child that they are a male, so it's worthless. I'm just asking, we're going to keep going, because I'm just saying. I said the same exact thing, right? My whole education, common sense, conscious, everything was questioned. Let's keep going. Y'all in there in the comments, where y'all at? Let's go.
Well, that's got nothing to do with the reality. So you can feel however you want. I mean, I could sit here and say that I feel like a tomato plant, but that doesn't mean that I'm actually in those things. So your self-perception, you can have whatever self-perception you want, but you can't expect me to take part in that self-perception or to take part in this kind of charade, this theatrical production.
Now, in fact, if you all remember, I told Dr. Phil, and we can go back and watch this. I told Dr. Phil, I say, well, I feel like I'm your rich white wife. Does that mean we're married? I said the same exact thing. I said the same exact thing. Now, what we're looking at on the screen, right? And everybody, we're going to keep this conversation respectful, right? Because I'm looking at this through two different perspectives now, right? Someone who has someone that they love and cherish, right, in their family that lives like this, right? And then someone who in conscious, right, in my factual mind, right, knows something else. Okay, hold on. Know something else, right? So with all due respect, can we be honest and say that this is something that would be very confusing to a child? A child, not even a child, but an adult, any of us would be confused. And it's like, how do you respect pronouns when you're representing a man and a woman? So you're telling me that am I supposed to call this person they? Let's keep going.
You don't get your own pronouns, just like you don't get your own prepositions or your own adjectives. It's like if I were to tell you, my adjectives are handsome and brilliant, and whenever you're talking about me, you have to describe me as handsome and brilliant because that's how I identify. It makes no sense. You don't get your own pronouns. That's grammar. That's language.
So you think it's a delusion? Someone is self-delusional?
Yeah, I think it's delusion. It could be mental illness. It could be it's a lot of different things. With children, wow. There's also just a basic confusion that all kids have. Like that's why when you hear a parent say, "Oh, my 4-year-old son came to me and said that I'm a girl now."
I gotta come in and I'm gonna stop interrupting it and I'm gonna play it again because he's making valid points, but he's saying the same exact thing that I'm saying. I said it was delusion. I said it was a mental issue. It was in the mind. But somehow I was crazy. I was crazy. So you can't be a black woman to this day. And I hope that God, and I'm already screaming because I'm getting mad and I'm in my feelings. I pray to God Trump run in 2024. And I pray to God that he wins. Because I promise you, stuff like this is going to be at the top of the issue for me. I need questions. Still to this day, is America a racist country in my opinion? Absolutely not. Because I've been able to become very successful, right? I'm who I am. No one stops my success, right? Has America been a racist country? Is there racism in America? Yes. Is America the most racist country in the world? Absolutely not. Are there other things that we need to be focused on besides racism? Yes. First of all, tell me why, though, I can't be a black woman on a show like Dr. Phil, right? Without being crazy, delusional, education discredited, skills, motherhood discredited, right? Common sense and knowledge all discredited for saying the same thing that a white man can go. When a white man goes on here, he's respected. Dr. Phil didn't ask this white man, and I'm sorry to my white friends, no offense to y'all, I just got to talk about what's going on. Not one time did this man get asked, where did he get his degree from? Come on. So it's the image. And let's go back to what I'm talking about. Let's go back to why I was first of all upset when I come on the show for the disrespect. Because first of all, why you open up this show with my son twerking? First of all, even, we know when children are young, they do stuff. I do too, but I know better. Dr. Phil, you know better, right? So I'm looking at the agenda and how they want to portray Black people. A Black woman can go on here and say the same exact thing with her own seed and education. That means I have the knowledge and the wisdom, right? See, Matt Walsh just has the knowledge, right? And what is knowledge? Knowledge is what we learn, through education. What is wisdom? Wisdom is what you gain through life experience. A Black mother with the knowledge and the wisdom is to be 100% discredited. And I promise you, if I run for Congress, winning, if I do decide to, if the good Lord tells me to, this is the first thing they're going to try to use to discredit me. They're going to say Black women, Black woman, Black Trump supporter Angela Stanton King has the nerve to run for Congress again after she wouldn't claim her own child, after she hated her own child. When did I never not claim my child? When have I ever said I hated my child? Matt Walsh sound like me without the emotion. You got me on stage. You might as well think it's a bear protecting her cubs. Makes you wonder if Matt Walsh watched me on the show. Let's keep going.
And so that's what I'm gonna raise him as a girl. No, you're a 4-year-old. I have 4 kids. When a 4-year-old boy comes to you and says, "Oh, I'm a girl," here's a good follow-up question.
There should be no construct of gender, just sex. You're either male or female.
Right.
And someone feeling in a mental, emotional way that they don't identify with the sex that they have been biologically created as and assigned at birth based on their genitalia. If they don't feel that way, that there's no construct that describes that, experiences that.
Well, that's got nothing to do with the reality. So you can feel however you want. I mean, I could sit here and say that I feel like a tomato plant, but that doesn't mean that I actually am those things. So your self-perception, you can have whatever self-perception you want, but you can't expect me to take part in that self-perception or to take part in this kind of charade, this theatrical production. You don't get your own pronouns, just like you don't get your own prepositions or your own adjectives. It's like if I were to tell you, my adjectives are handsome and brilliant, and whenever you're talking about me, you have to describe me as handsome and brilliant because that's how I identify. It makes no sense. You don't get your own pronouns. That's grammar.
I just got to come in and say that man just made one heck of a point. That man just made one heck of a point. That if you can get a pronoun, like I'm the most beautiful Black woman that ever existed, right? When you address me as queen. Like, what if we demanded something like that and then made it a law, right? That you couldn't speak against it. Let's keep going. I just had to say that was a heck of a point. Let's keep going.
It's language.
So you think it's a delusion? Someone is self-delusional.
Yeah, I think it's delusion. It could be mental illness. It could be it's a lot of different things. With children, wow. There's also just a basic confusion that all kids have. Like that's why when you hear someone, a parent say, "Oh, my 4-year-old son came to me and said that I'm a girl now, and so that's what I'm gonna raise him as a girl. No, you're a 4-year-old. I have 4 kids. When a 4-year-old boy comes to you and says, "Oh, I'm a girl," here's a good follow-up question: what is a girl? Ask him what he means by that. What do you mean by girl? And when you ask him that, here's what he'll tell you. He will tell you what he really means is that he wants to do some of the things that girls do, like play with the dollhouse, or he likes the color pink. That's fine. Play with the dollhouse, but you're still a boy.
I said the same thing. I said the same thing. You can't be a mama and tell your child that. Well, you can't be a black mama and tell your child that on a national platform. You better shut your mouth. Because if you don't shut your mouth, we're going to put, I'm trying to be nice. We're going to put a silverback gorilla with a wig on to be your match on the show, to show you that you ain't nothing compared to them. Matter of fact, even with all of your accomplishments and all of this education you had claimed you got, right? And the sacrifices you claim that you've made for your children, right? We're going to put this silverback gorilla in the wig on and elevate him over you, right? We're going to elevate him to be the perfect model of what a mother should be, right? And we're going to make you look like trash, right? We're talking about the agenda this morning. We're talking about the agenda this morning, right? Because we can see how this whole setting, the whole tone, the whole everything is different. This is why black men got to rise up and stand up and protect women. Like, I have no business in a ring with a silverback gorilla, right? I have no business in the ring with a silverback gorilla. And this is another reason why we got to fight against some of these agendas, right? And these policies that we see being placed. Like, we know it ain't right, for men that have transitioned to women to play on sports team and take opportunities away from biological girls, right? We know that. Like, we're letting common sense leave us because we want to identify with a particular group, right? I identify as being black, but I don't identify with all of the shit that some black people do. Excuse me, YouTube. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm working on it. Right. I didn't mean to say that. Stuff. Just because I'm black, right, don't mean that I got to believe we are drug dealers. We all killers. We all have poor grammar. We're not educated, or that we're not smart enough to know how to get on the internet, like Joe Biden said. Or that we're not smart enough to know how to go get an ID. Or that we're not smart enough to know, okay, if we getting ready to be voting, right, 8 months from now, that means I got plenty of time to figure out where I'm going to go, how I'm going to get my cooler of water and snacks, right? If I want to mail it in, right, I can be proactive because no one's really taking away my right to vote, right? I don't have to believe that all black people are stupid just because I'm black. So when we're talking about identifying, right, with a certain community, just because you identify as LGBTQIA+, and all the rest, right, does not mean you have to agree with everything LGBTQIA+ and all the rest. As a black mama, you know, you gonna sit your behind down somewhere, right? Because not only are we gonna put you in the ring and make you go toe to toe with a silverback gorilla in the wig, right? We're also going to destroy your entire credibility by creating numerous false articles about you to circulate through the media. We're going to take this opportunity to use it, right, as a bullet, right, to shoot you with if you ever think you're going to run for Congress or be anything or speak against our agenda. Right. Right. The white man going to put you in your place by using a black man in a wig. You don't even have enough respect for me as a mama to bring out a mother of a child that's transitioned, trying to prove a point to me. The disrespect, what you belittle me and my sacrifice to. Because at the end of the day, ain't nobody asked me what I went through, what I experienced, what I sacrificed, how I survived, what I put in to keep my children, unlike some who had mothers that were crackheads and shot up heroin and didn't give a damn about them. I did it and we made it. And I did it. And they know I did it. Let's keep going. No, you can't. You, like, black woman, you better sit down somewhere. Don't play with us. You don't have the right to appear halfway educated. You don't have the right to go against anything that we say. Who the hell do you think you are?
To say gender is over is radical stuff that should not be taught to third graders. That's dangerous. And if you extrapolate and continue on, then it leads to to gender neutral bathrooms, which they're doing at the school district next to us. And they're doing that throughout the country, and gender neutral bathrooms and locker rooms. And that's just not safe. That is a dangerous situation to keep them combined in the same space.
Yeah. How do you feel about the gender neutral bathrooms and locker rooms?
Yeah, well, I agree with my fellow Matt over here. Loudoun County is a famous case that the Daily Wire we helped uncover. There was a gender non-conforming boy in a dress who went into a girl's restroom and violently raped a young girl. After that happened, that's when the school district decided, oh, you know what? Now we're going to open up the restrooms and invite the boys in with the girls. Now, here's what happens. Because we hear a lot about, well, gender nonconforming people, transgender people, it makes them feel bad if they're not given access to the bathrooms they want. Well, okay, so they have their feelings. What about the feelings of the girls who are getting raped? There are many girls and many women who are speaking out and saying, we want privacy in our facilities. We don't want a man in the bathroom with us. And then what we hear from this side,
I did not say that we want open bathrooms where anyone can go in.
What we hear from this side is that, well, their feelings don't matter. We're not going. Who cares? You just have to deal with it, right? Because the transgender people, the gender nonconforming people, it's their feelings that take priority.
I'm not trying to minimize your concern around it, but I don't know that it's a safety issue. You usually still have another bathroom that you can go to.
It's a security issue. My daughter would not feel safe or secure if she had to share a bathroom or a gender neutral locker room with boys.
Now let's talk about this for a minute, because, and we just having a real conversation right here. Because I told you all before, a lot of this stuff is just common sense, right? Like, I can remember, being raised in my grandmother's house, right? And all of my cousins being over there, and we had a girls' room and we had a boys' room. And even growing up with my family members, we weren't in the bathroom at the same time, right? In my house, right? And there was a reason why there was a girls' rooms and a bathroom. Like, there was a reason why we kept our children separate, right? And I can remember raising my children in my house with one daughter and 3 boys. My daughter has never been subjected to any of her brothers in the bathroom, exposed, or none of that. Like, we respect, right, each other's privacy. My daughter has not been forced to use the same bathroom with her own brothers, right? My daughter has never been forced, right? Prior to these new laws coming out, to have even me, right? Like if you forcing me to use a bathroom with a man, then that's not right. Like something's not even adding up. So what he said was, you know, how does the feelings of transgender or non-conforming people override the feelings of, right, people who are born of a biological sex? This is the question. And the second question, why I cannot believe that Black people, for one, especially when we know what's all been swept up under the carpet, right, in the family and in the Black church, and we know didn't nobody stand up, fight for us, do nothing, right? Like, how are you all allowing this to happen to our children? How could you even think to vote? And I need y'all to like, and I need y'all to share these videos, because y'all know they suppressing my numbers. And if ain't nobody else gonna preach this message, and if I'm the only one that's gonna preach this message, the least y'all can do is help me get the word out there. Y'all need to be sharing all of my videos. Y'all know how they silencing me. They cannot silence us all, right? Y'all need to share these videos. Y'all need to like these videos, support when you can. I'm trying to understand, right? This whole train of thought that they have when they feel as though that they can actually, you know, come for our children. How are we voting, right, for our children, right, to be violated? At the end of the day, you don't want your daughter you don't want your daughter in the same bathroom with a man that you know, or a boy that you know. Let's be honest. It don't matter if it's a nephew. It don't matter if it's a first cousin. It don't matter if it's a friend. Like you want your daughter to have privacy. We want our sons to have privacy, right? Because it's a flip mode to it. It's a flip mode to it. Because if we feel as though that there are predators and peeping toms and indecent exposure, like all of this stuff used to be a real thing. Like if we feel as though there are predators that are taking advantage of our daughters, right, then we need to know that there are predators that are also taking advantage of our sons. We're not in a day and age where we just got to worry about our daughters no more. I'm just saying. You vote for a man to be in the bathroom with your daughter when most men don't even go in the bathrooms with their own daughters? Think about it. Depending on the age, you might stand right outside the door to make sure everything all good. Most men aren't going in the bathroom with their own daughters. Brothers aren't going in the bathroom with their own sisters. So you're telling me that I have to, if I don't even trust my daughter in the bathroom with her own siblings, not that I think anything that they would do anything, we gonna make sure we don't rock like that. So we're so caught up on racism and thinking that the Democrats fighting for us, but the whole while they voting to put Big Willie in the bathroom with your daughter and your son. I'm finna keep going.
Approach that you are admittedly taking. And then there's also just ordinary people that might not be comfortable with the language change. And it just is awkward. And so they're afraid of not being courteous or being accepting. So there's like these two things. There's actually combating and not being, you don't like transgender, the idea of transgender. That's different than pronouns. But then just for most people, it's just feeling a little bit awkward and unsure and not wanting to hurt or offend somebody.
Well, why is it important for educators to teach about gender identity, gender presentation, and pronouns? Why do you think that's important?
Because there is a difference. There is biological sex, and a lot of times people are conflating sex and gender. So there's biological sex and then there's gender. And that's a social construct in the sense that just because you're born biologically a female doesn't mean you automatically want to vacuum, for instance, which is usually a feminine activity or conflated that way. And so it's this idea of giving children in age-appropriate ways an understanding that that these things aren't set in stone. Gender identity is not tied to biology.
I got to stop right there and come back in because I have to tell you why this is dangerous, right? Because and I addressed this already on Hollywood Unlocked with Mr. Blue, right? The reason why this is dangerous is because you cannot have gender without sex, right? Let me explain. I'll make it real simple for you. This is why when a person, right, who believes they are of a certain gender would go have a sex change, right? Because they are transitioning and the only two options are male or female. So you cannot have gender without sex, right? Because your gender is basically tied to your sex. If your gender was not tied to your sex, then there would be no need to have surgeries that involve castration and amputation. I'm hoping I explained that clearly for people. Like, I can't put it no simpler than that. And this is why this is dangerous for our children. This is why we have to continue to shout from the mountaintop, okay? Because you cannot have gender without sex. This is dangerous. Now, you can absolutely have a feminine or a masculine personality. These are personality traits, right? The personality of this person we're looking at on the screen is masculine, right? It is not a gender. It is not a sex. And it is okay, just like Matt Walsh said, I think in the last clip, it is not that you are a man. You just enjoy doing things that you perceive only men do, right? Men like coochie, you like coochie, okay? Men like to drive big trucks. I don't know. You look like you like to drive big trucks. I don't know. Men like to play in the dirt and wrestle with bulls and all of that stuff and ride them by the horns and stuff, grab them. I don't know. You look like you might want to do that. I don't know. I'm just saying. Men like to play football. You look like you might want to put a helmet on your head and go out there and play football with them. And that is okay. But you still don't have, right, the construct, right, of a man. So because they are pushing, right, this ideology, this belief, this indoctrination, right, that you can become a man, you can't become a man unless you go see who? The doctor. And in order for you to go see the doctor, you got to have what? Some money. And if you ain't got no, man, Belinda, let me tell you something. Belinda, you finna get out. When I tell you, man, I almost choked on my own spit, man, listen. Bye. Okay, listen, let's get back on track because every once in a while, you know, I just happen to glance over to the right and I might see a crazy comment, man, and y'all be wilding in the comments. But listen, back on track. Gender and sex, you know. So in order to go see the doctor got to have some money, okay? Who benefits? You or the doctor, right? I'm just asking a question. Who benefits? Huh? After you see the doctor or before you see the doctor, what you got to have? You got to have medication. I'm going to shut up right there because you already know I'm talking too much. Let's keep going with this clip.
You say that gender's not set in stone.
It's not.
What do you mean?
I mean, that's just factually incorrect, saying that. So you have biology is the chromosomal makeup and reproductive organs and all of that. And so that would be sort of the nature side of things. But the nurture side of things is where we see more of gender identities.
She began by saying that my view is extreme. Okay, so the view that every single person on earth has held up until 15 seconds ago is extreme. And the view that almost everyone does right now still hold as extreme, apparently, according to her. But there is this they are conflating gender and sex, because on one hand they say, well, you got your biological sex, but then your gender is whatever social construct. But then they turn around and say that trans women are women. So a man who identifies with the gender, the social construct of womanhood, actually is a woman. So if you can laugh all you want, but this is a logical problem. You are conflating sex and gender just by saying that. So that's the problem.
There's biological sex, and then there is gender identity. Part of me wants to ask why you care so much, because it's really not that big of a deal.
Oh, yeah. Can I answer that? I'd love to answer that question. I care about the truth. So basic truth matters. I want to live in a society where people care about the truth and we're grounded in truth. Right. I care about children, and these insane ideas about gender are being foisted on kids, and that bothers me quite a bit. I care about the women who are having their opportunities stolen from them. I care quite a bit. Yeah.
You are a champion for.
Listen, then wants to discredit, right? You can't be a champion for women. You can't be a champion for truth. We've already talked about why this is dangerous. It's dangerous because we know what it leads to. Like I've always said, right? Like if you love me, right? If you love me and you know that I'm in a car and I'm driving 100 miles per hour and I don't see that it's a brick wall, right? At the end of that road. If you don't call me and tell me to slow down before I run into that brick wall, you don't care. You would rather watch me burn and crash, right? So our children, and this is why they want, right, to teach 3 and 4 and 5-year-olds this mess. You know why? Who does this make money for? So now all of these children, they're going to be saying they got gender identity issues. What we finna take them to the doctor. They finna put them on hormone blockers. We watched that video the other day. How much them hormone blockers cost? How much it costs to go to the doctor? Who benefited from this? Why they experimenting on our children? We got one more clip. Let's go. And I got to go because the show is tomorrow. Hold on.
That's a question I would like to throw out to other members of the panel, actually, because just like the 4-year-old can't answer what is a girl. Well, this is one of the problems with this left-wing gender ideology, is that no one who espouses it can even tell you what these words mean. It's like, what is a woman? Can you tell me what a woman is?
No, I can't, because it's not for me to say. Womanhood looks different for everyone.
I just got to say one more thing, because I want y'all to go back, look through my videos to watch when I posted the interview of Dr. Phil. If y'all remember, right, when I said this about, what is a woman and how can he be a woman, talking about my son, you remember he went to telling me, Dr. Phil, about the studies that they have performed, right? Remember, this man told me that they have performed CAT scans, right, on men with brains like my son, or trans women, whatever the hell, because I'm confused now at this point, right? Said that they have performed CAT scans, right, on people with brains, right, like my child, and it has determined that they are women. This is what this man told me. You don't went all the way down to the studies and the CAT scans and how it ain't no way in the world, right, that my son ain't a woman, right? But this man sitting up here spitting all these facts and you got nothing for him. And y'all think the media is for black people? Y'all think these people are our friends? Somehow Matt Walsh now is the hero, but I'm the disgusting mother that won't accept her child. Lost my whole platform because a whole silverback gorilla in a wig on Twitter tweeting about how he gonna be a mother to my children and make sure they got everything they need. My boy, let me tell you, you talking about playing with fire? You know how old folk used to say, I not, you playing with fire. You talking about playing with fire. Listen, just like and I don't give a damn, had a Twitter. Like I said, come around here, bro. Listen, I'll wait till 2024. Hey, and somebody will tell Trump to let me out. Because I'm going to give you all this work. Don't come nowhere around my children. Yeah, take the platform. People can put a sign in their yard all day that say, beware the dog. But the minute I say, beware the mama, it's a threat. Nah, it's a promise. Yeah, playing with fire. Not fire, fire. Yeah, fire ass. Let's keep going.
Everybody. What do you define a woman as?
An adult human female.
And what does a female mean?
Well,
how
that's
do you define a female?
someone with female reproductive organs.
Okay.
Someone who's, here's the thing, when you're female, it goes right down to your bones, your DNA. So that's why if someone dies,
Okay.
we could dig up their bones 100 years from now. We have no idea what they believed in their head, but we can tell what sex they were because it's ingrained in every fiber of their being.
Interesting. So I'm trying to understand. Your definition is that a woman is someone who is female, you said, right?
Correct.
Gotcha.
Is a biological female.
So what happens if we have maybe someone who is female, identifies as a woman, right? Cisgender woman, right? As you just explained, maybe doesn't have the ability to reproduce. Maybe doesn't have those organs that you're talking about that are reproductive organs.
I have answered the question. You stood up here and said trans women are women.
Yes.
Tell me what you mean. What is a woman?
Womanhood is something that, just as Ethan explained, I cannot define because I am not
But
myself.
You used the word. So what did you mean when you said trans women are women if you don't know what it means?
Right. So here's the thing. So I do not define what a woman is because I do not identify as a woman. Womanhood is something that is an umbrella term. It includes people
that describes what?
People who identify as a woman.
Identify as what?
As a woman.
What is that?
Was to each their own.
Okay.
Each woman, each man, each person is going to have a different relation with their own gender identity and define it differently. And so trans women are women too.
Okay.
And you want to hold on.
You
want to reduce.
Listen. You
want to reduce
means, though. So
you want to reduce women. You want to reduce men down to maybe just their genetics, our genitals, our chromosomes, right? That's what you're saying.
What you want to do is
that's what
you want to do is appropriate women. You want to appropriate womanhood.
Okay.
And turn it into basically a costume that can be worn.
Baby, when I'm telling you, gave you that work. Now there are several things with that last clip. First of all, what do you mean you don't identify as a woman? Like, and then want to get mad at us and we got to go to jail if we don't have the proper pronoun. What we supposed to identify you as? You sitting up here, you on the stage, you got a beard, you got your hair done, you got your earrings, you got your nails, you got your high heels, you sassy, your legs crossed. We don't know if you a woman or a man. How are we supposed to address you if we just going to have a real conversation? So if we going by the beard, right? Because if we want to talk about truth and we want to talk about features and we want to talk about nature, right? It is known that men have beards. So if we want to go by the beard and refer to you as a man, we wrong. Now, if we want to refer to you as a woman based off of how you presenting yourself, we're wrong. So you want us as adults to respect something. We can't even tell the difference between we're confused. And then you want to teach that same confusion to children that are in preschool. And like, how does, right? Because the reality is this. Every person, right, that is on this earth came from a man and a woman, right? So LGBTQ is a minority. Like, you cannot, LGBTQ does not create, right? Like, all of them came from heterosexual, from a man and woman relationship. So if we know, right, that reproduction, life itself come from a man and woman relationship, why are we trying to confuse it when it comes to children? Like, when you get older, like I'm just thinking if I'm a child that's being brought up in today, right, with all of these social affirmations and social norms, if I'm a child and I'm thinking, okay, I don't know what to think. I don't know what to think. Like, can a boy be tricked out of fatherhood without even, before he even understand what fatherhood is, if they're allowing him to give him hormone blockers just because they identify with something and don't even have a full understanding of life or family? Can a little girl be tricked out of motherhood, right, by not having a full understanding of life? Like they're going to give them puberty blockers? Where is Jason Lee attacking Matt Walsh and saying that he hate all gay people and calling him a pig? Where is the Breakfast Club? Where are all of these black media outlets, right, that wanted to repost me as such an evil, hateful mother because I got nervous, say, wait a minute, hold on, baby, slow down. Like we don't have to go along with their agenda. Hold on, I need you to we need to think about this a little bit more, before you make a decision that you regret, or before you make a decision that you can't turn back from, right? Where is all of the people, right? All of these black media outlets that attack me? I don't see them saying nothing about Matt Walsh. And you telling me that black Democrats in office voting for this? How that add up? I'm just asking. I want y'all to go back down the page. Let me see, can I find it for y'all right quick so y'all know which one it is. Let me see if I can find it for y'all right